the place that unites Nigeria.
From the largest television network in Africa, the NTA, we bring to you Weekend File, where we seek the views of experts, government functionaries, movers of the economy, and the ordinary Nigerian on developmental challenges confronting the nation in an era of diversification, the process that is meant to reinvigorate all aspects of our national life in education, science, technology, and innovation, agriculture, health, and other aspects of societal development. The Weekend File crew has the onerous task of articulating all the issues, ensuring that all perspectives are brought to the table. On this show, all things matter and opinions of every class count. Weekend File shows every Saturday at 9 p.m. on the NTA network service. It is your weekend companion and a destination for news, views, and analysis. It is unmissable.
NTA.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide. We are live in Abuja on Africa's largest TV network, the NTA. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari and the All Progressives Congress, the APC, on the president's resounding victory at the Presidential Election Petition Court. In a statement, the Senate President says the judgment of the court has again put a judicial seal on the mandate given to the president by Nigerians. Lawan urges the president to accept the affirmation of his election as a reminder of citizens' confidence in his capacity to continue to lead Nigeria. He also commends the petitioners for using the judicial window prescribed by the Constitution in seeking redress for their grievances and urges them to join hands with the government in the important responsibility of nation building. Meanwhile, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has also congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on his victory at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal. In a statement, the Speaker also felicitates with the leadership of the All Progressives Congress on the victory. The Speaker applauds the Nigerian judiciary, especially members of the Presidential Election Petition Court, for doing its job without fear or favor. Gbajabiamila equally commends the PDP and its presidential candidate ATIKU Abubakar for testing Nigeria's laws in a peaceful manner. And the verdict of the Elections Petition Court has not only renewed the hopes of Nigerians for a brighter future, but also affirmed that the will of the people takes precedence. This was the view shared by the governor of Niger State, Abubakar Sani Bello, and his counterpart from Ogun State, Prince Dakpo Abiodun, who congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari over his recent victory at the Election Petition Court. The governors who wished the president well noted that he can now concentrate on his developmental strides and take Nigerians to the next level. Also, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, is requesting the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate, in the last elections to apologize to Nigerians for distracting President Muhammadu Buhari's administration instead of appealing the ruling of Wednesday's Presidential Election Petition Court. In a statement, the minister said while the PDP and its candidate ATIKU Abubakar reserve the right to pursue their petition to the highest level, they will be better served by dropping their toga of desperation. The statement further states, the opposition, having lost at the polls and in court, should now join hands with the government to move Nigeria to the next level. He commends the tribunal for not only doing justice to the case, but for painstakingly explaining the details. And still on Wednesday's ruling, reactions have continued to trail the outcome of the Presidential Election Petition Court, as many have applauded the victory of President Muhammadu Buhari. Abdulkarim Mohammed Zurmi reports that guests on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria were not left out.
Gating the playout of the Presidential Election Tribunal, guests brought up issues concerning the electoral system, advising on the need to revamp the process and address technicalities that pose challenges.
So, for voter registration, voter accreditation, and actual voting, provisions have been made for those in the law.
There hasn't been much advancement in the domestic forum of each of these countries to connect with the international standards for elections.
They also advised on wrong interpretation of the law or action.
What people look at from the social media is totally different from what actually happened on the field. The electoral process or election cannot be won by the views of people, and most of these people particularly did not even vote.
Some of these judgments that you've talked about are judgments that were meant to enhance peace, to maintain status quo, to allow peace to reign. And then we will say next time will be better.
The general consensus is for the prevail of democracy as the people have reflected by voting for President Muhammadu Buhari. In Abuja, Abdulkarim Mohammed Zurmi, NTA News.
To other matters now, the federal government has continued to receive commendations following the distribution of modern firefighting equipment to various states of the federation. Doyin Dia from Yola in Adamawa State reports that Governor Umaru Fentari, while receiving some of the equipment, described the emergency preparedness as a brilliant initiative that will save lives and property of Nigerians, especially in the dry season.
This used to be the situation in Adamawa State. Dilapidated infrastructure and lack of manpower to drive emergency response in terms of fire disaster. But that narrative is changing as the federal government is committing huge resources to ensure that the fire service gets modern firefighting equipment that can attend to emergency situations across the country.
For the service of the good people of Adamawa and humanity.
The presentation of this equipment is to boost the capacity and efficiency of the new zonal center, which is to coordinate emergency response and fire disaster management in 3 states of Taraba, Adamawa, and Gombe.
We've been using manual ways and traditional ways of quenching fire because even the state doesn't have a functional firefighting equipment. But today, I would say, we are one of the luckiest. We are grateful to the federal government.
What it means is there will be prompt response to disaster.
The Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Liman Ibrahim, had earlier visited the officers' training school in Minna, Niger State, where some of the 2,200 newly recruits are undergoing rigorous training for the tasks ahead. The team is expected to visit Imo, Ondo, and Delta states for further distribution of the emergency equipment. Doyin Dia, NT News.
187 Nigerians returned from South Africa. Let's join Hingino in our Lagos Network Center for details and other trending stories in that zone. Actually, Dotun, you're on.
Thank you, Hawa, and welcome to the Center of Excellence. 187 Nigerians have voluntarily returned to Nigeria following a series of attacks on other African nationals by South Africans in South Africa. Michael Olaleye reports that the returnees were in high spirits to tap into the life-changing initiatives of the federal government in repositioning their livelihoods.
On board were 187 Nigerians, consisting 185 adults and 2 infants. The federal government, through the Office of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, has put in place measures for seamless reintegration, apart from providing temporary shelter for their comforts.
We're glad that Mr. President gave this instruction and they're all back home. And it's about the beauty of us as Nigerians, that no matter what, we are one united country and we continue to stand by one another and defend one another. And in the words of Mr. President, the life of every Nigerian matters.
The government has directed that the losses should be counted so that at the end of the day, the government will know the magnitude of the loss and then know how to press for compensation.
Between 1995 and 2019, there have been 10 serious cases of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, which the returnees say is dehumanizing and inimical to achieving peace in the continent. With renewed hope to join the vanguard of making Nigeria economically buoyant among the Committee of Nations, some of them appreciated a kind gesture of the federal government for coming to rescue, insisting that they now feel safer in their motherland.
We are so surprised that Nigeria government can do this. We are so surprised. We give our government a great gosa.
No, never. I will never go back if I'm comfortable here. And besides, I don't even have plan to stay in South Africa.
My next line of action is to stay here in Nigeria and open my workshop.
The airline operator who facilitated the evacuation process put the cost at about 280 million naira.
The aircraft is there, my pilots are ready. If the Nigerian High Commission calls us this night to say, oh, we have another 200 to move, we shall dispatch another set of pilots to go and bring our people back.
Out of the about 100,000 Nigerians residing in South Africa, more than 600 have already indicated interest to return to the country. In Lagos, Michael Olaleye, NT News.
The National Assembly has approved a sum of $5.3 billion for the commencement of Ibadan to Kano Railway project. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi said this during an interactive forum with stakeholders in the maritime sector in Lagos. The forum is aimed at finding solutions to the various challenges confronting the maritime industry in Nigeria.
I've heard the issue of enforcement of law and order. So I've heard the enforcement of mostly they dwell more on security, and we're already focusing on security. And so we deliver on that. We're listening to them. After 6 months to 1 year, we'll come back again and say, have we been able to achieve those things you wanted us to achieve? Are there new things you want us to do?
800,000 persons are said to die by suicide every year globally, which translates to 1 person dying every 40 seconds by suicide. This alarming statistics explains why the United Nations is targeting the youth to raise the bar in the awareness of suicide prevention as the World Suicide Prevention Day is commemorated. Adeola Omokivie has the details.
This is 15-year-old Blessing Otohi, who suffers from undue comparison.
She will tell me that Mr. Lagada is doing something and he cannot do it. It's pain.
Revelation came from the first female talking drummer in Nigeria, Aralola Olamuyiwa, who has attempted suicide thrice.
It got to a stage in my life and career, I lost everything.
The rate of has increased by 60% over the last 45 years.
Every society, whether it's a state or government, should have a strategy to prevent suicide.
A psychiatrist, Dr. Fumi Akinola, noted that suicide is the second leading cause of death amongst adolescents between the ages of 15 and 19 and young adults of 20 and 24 years.
when there's a change in the behavior of anybody, your children, your friend, your colleague. So you bother to find out, be your brother's keeper.
A panel of discussants and parents at an interactive session advocated increased awareness among the youths, noting that suicide is never the way out.
Theme for this year is working together to prevent suicide. In Lagos, Adeola Omokive, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Lagos. Nationwide continues after the commercial break.
It is here again. The NTA ETV Annual Expo is here again. This time, it is the 13th edition. 2019 has as its theme, promoting unity and innovations in youths as agents of change through science and arts. It promises to be captivating as youths across the nation showcase their unique skills and innovations in science and arts, make new friends, and showcase their rich cultural heritage. Join us at the NTA Headquarters Arena, Area 11, Garki, Abuja, from Sunday, 28th October to Thursday, 24th October, 2019. For more information, participation, and sponsorship, please call these numbers. NTA ETV, promoting learning.
Their ancestors were taken away as slaves. Now they return as kings and queens on a pilgrimage back to the motherland. The third door of return ceremony, Diaspora Festival, Badagry, Lagos, Nigeria, takes place in Badagry from the 15th to the 20th of October 2019. For details on participation and sponsorship, contact the following. Website adore.ng. The African Door of Return Experience. Don't miss it. Brought to you by the African Door of Return Experience Initiative in collaboration with the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission and the African Renaissance Foundation. Chief host, the Lagos State Government.
This is to notify candidates who applied for Ahmadu Bello University and NTA TV College degree program in mass communication for 2019-2020 academic session that the post-UTME screening exercise has been scheduled to take place on Saturday, 21st September 2019. Venue, NTA TV College premises, Rayfield, Jos. Time, 9 a.m. Screening fee, 2,000 Naira paid through the remitter platform in favor of NTA TV College Jos. Candidates who chose the college as second and third choices in the 2019 UTME examination scored 180 and above and willing to study at the college can also come for the exercise. Candidates who satisfy the above requirements are expected to come along with the originals of their O-level certificate, any of WAEC, NECO, or NABTEM, JAMB slip, birth certificate, indigenship certificate, and proof of payment. Direct entry candidates are expected to come along with their original diploma certificate, A-level results, in addition to other credentials mentioned above. Registrar, Announcer.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's Nationwide. A key aspect of the National Youth Service Corps program is mobilization of young graduates. While the logistics and planning could be cumbersome, the NYSC is grappling with another challenge in the process. This is the incidence of fake corps members. In this report, the NYSC Director General Brigadier General Shuaibu In an exclusive interview with Olayinka Ojo provides an insight into issues of eligibility and discipline of corps members.
Instituted under the government administration to ensure cohesion, the NYSC is what many describe as a noble cause indeed. However, practices that could be termed unnoble threatens the institution's integrity. Enrollment is an aspect that must be kept impeccable, but this, according to the helmsman, is being circumvented by some corps-producing institutions.
From our own findings, we discover some of these students lie to their parents that they are in social universities, but meanwhile they go and buy fake certificate from an institution and make themselves available to come.
Separating the wheat from the chaff has not been without its challenges. With more than 50 fake corps members apprehended barely 2 months after a meeting with vice-chancellors, rectors and provosts of some African tertiary institutions on stemming this negative trend.
We realized that they said some of their documents were being rejected. We find out later on they said it is because they came in with fake WAEC.
Should be an interaction of the students they admit, when they admit the students, when the students are graduating.
The 2019 Batch B Stream 2 exercise, which ended some days ago, threw up this astonishing number.
We're going to follow through to ensure that in the next camp, such charlatans will not find their way to our camp anymore. And I want to use this opportunity also to appeal to parents to please be mindful of their words.
The NYSC administration says it needs cooperation to tackle this challenge and the growing incidence of unauthorized travels by corps members, which may lead to unfortunate outcomes. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
Initiatives expected to address skill gaps, particularly for migrant workers in West Africa and the Sahel, is underway. Leading international institutions are meeting in Abuja to develop platforms expected to promote skills development to assist national and migrant workers. The initiative is in response to the recently launched Global Skills Partnership for Migrant Workers.
The World Economic Forum has identified 10 special skills needed for an employer to thrive in 2020 in the world of work, without which getting the desired job might be difficult due to increasing changing nature of future of work. These uncertainty are changing the future of work. Leading the campaign for decent work in Africa, the International Labour Organization wants workers' capacity to be enhanced to meet labour market needs of migrant workers in countries of destination or transit and in countries of origin when they returned home.
The Global Skills Partnership on Migration Initiative is paying particular attention to low and medium skills migrants and will be underpinned by partnerships at national, sub-regional and continental levels.
In a context of limited job opportunities, environmental degradation and political instability sometimes, mobility and its benefits represent a key strategy for many of the West Africans today.
Young people in this region have extraordinary initiative, and if they had access to credit, with the skills they develop, they could start their own businesses. So we will be looking probably to begin with, for example, in Edo State, partnering with some of these financial institutions.
For the International Organization for Migration, migrants from the northeastern part of Nigeria have suffered a setback in terms of skill development due to insurgency. Their peculiar cases are to be factored in for a quick consideration at the forum. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
For more reports, let's join Chinyere in our Enugu Network Center. Good afternoon to you.
Now I Council Enugu Network Center. Some residents and professionals in Enugu State, Southeast Nigeria, have described the judgment of the Presidential Tribunal between President Muhammadu Buhari and Alhaji ATIKU Abubakar as thorough and commendable. They gave their assessment in an interview with correspondent Amish Pius in Enugu State. Youths in Imo State are taking advantage of the federal government training program on mushroom production to improve their capacity in crop cultivation. Miriam Vincent Okun reports that the training organized by National Horticultural Institute is aimed at empowering the youth and ensuring food sufficiency.
This is one of the numerous capacity-building programs designed by the federal government to ensure improved efficiency and performance of farmers. The focus here is mushroom and herbinger cultivation. Unlike other crops which are popular among farmers, the mushroom, which is known to have high nutritional and economic value, seems to be receiving little attention. Hence, the steps being taken to raise farmers that will harness the benefits inherent. Ebuga Immaculata is a farmer and specializes in the cultivation of watermelon and cucumber, while Charles Emesowum has been into farming in the past 20 years with major focus on seedlings production. They are positive that the knowledge acquired will help them contribute meaningfully to making Nigeria self-sufficient in mushroom and herbinger production.
I'm very, very grateful to the federal government for giving me this opportunity.
I've been exposed to a lot of things I don't know in the areas of the herbinger and the mushroom production.
For the chairman, National Horticultural Research Institute Governing Board, the seriousness of the federal government towards diversification of the nation's economy
A statement by the NAF Director, Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikule Daramola, states that this was achieved when a Nigerian Air Force Alpha jet on armed reconnaissance mission along the axis spotted two ISWAP gun trucks emerging from the Jumashiri settlement heading towards Garunda. The attack aircraft tracked the gun trucks as they attempted to evade detection and engaged one of the trucks, which was camouflaged under a tree in successive passes, scoring accurate hits leading to the neutralization. 7 passengers, including a minor, highway, have been rescued by personnel of Operation Thunder Strike. Let's now join Ahmed Umar Gunda for more.
Among the victims is 7-year Mariam Abubakar. Mariam, her mother, and 5 other victims were traveling from Ofa, Kwara State to Zaria.
They used to beat us every day. They used to tie us with rope. They said we are saying rubbish.
Items recovered from the suspected kidnappers include 2 AK-47 rifles, 130 rounds of special ammunition and some cash.
Based on the reports from the Nigerian police about the incident on Sunday, we have been working tirelessly to ensure that these innocent civilians rejoin with their family. And in the process, we lost one of our sources.
Victims have been handed over to Kaduna State Commissioner of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
We want to thank the Chief of Defense Staff, the Chief of Army Staff, the GOC 1 Division, the Garrison Commander, and the Force Commander for doggedness, courage, dedication, and total commitment.
Operation Thunder Strike was launched in May this year. In Kaduna, Ahmad Umar Kudang, NTA News.
And with the recent pronouncement by President Muhammadu Buhari on reasons why the Ministry of Police Affairs was created, the Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Megari Dingyadi, met with the Inspector General of Police and his management team to discuss ways of improving the force for better service delivery. Over now to Francis Fong.
For some time now, Nigeria has been facing insecurity challenges ranging from insurgency, kidnapping, banditry, armed robbery, as well as farmers and herders clashes. In a bid to address these challenges, President Muhammadu Buhari has created the Ministry of Police Affairs to oversee the development and implementation of strategies that will enhance Nigeria's internal security in synergy with other security and intelligence agencies. This meeting is aimed at finding ways of addressing the challenges.
At the end of the meeting, we're 100% sure that police will move to the next level. We are working for the police. It is only when we are fully briefed on the way forward that we can join hands to map out strategies that will make us move to the next level. And I think we should work together and seek the cooperation of other security agencies to ensure that we move this country to the next level. I want to thank you.
The minister further assured the police top management team of a harmonious working relationship. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
And still on security matters, following Governor Umaru Bello Masari's dialogue initiative with suspected armed bandits, a total of 15 persons, including a 4-month-old baby, have been so far released by the abductors, just as the state government released 14 suspected bandits in the custody of security operatives. Shehu Adamu was at a handing over ceremony and now reports.
For years, some parts of Katsina State have been facing the challenges of insecurity, thereby making lives difficult to the people of the affected areas. Worried by the situation and part of commitment to complement federal government efforts at addressing the challenges of insecurity in the country, the Governor Aminu Bello Masari-led administration in Katsina State initiated a dialogue and amnesty program with the repentant bandits. 2 weeks into the dialogue initiative, both parties commenced fulfillment of the agreements reached. Governor Aminu Bello Masari, who expressed delight with the positive outcome of the dialogue initiative, reiterated the determination of his administration to implement the agreements to the letter and called on the other party to follow suit.
I hope the process will be completed within the next 1 or 2 days, so that we will start the second phase of the peace initiative that has being started.
One of the released kidnapped victims, Saadatu Garba, commended Kaduna State government for securing their release. A mediator of the dialogue with the bandits, Abdullahi Merafi, assured that the armed bandits are committed to the agreements reached. More release of kidnapped victims and suspected bandits in the custody of security operatives are being expected. In Katsina, Shehu Adamu, NTA News.
That was Shehu Adamu there reporting on the Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari's initiative. Moving on now, about 60 more suspects have been arrested in different parts of the country in connection. This is the latest success recorded by operatives of the Operation Perf Ada in their bid to rid the country of rising waves of crime. Over now to Francis Fong.
This gang of 11 kidnappers are allegedly responsible for the kidnap of a lawmaker from Sokoto State and 3 students of Ahmadu Bello University. The lawmaker was kidnapped in Bodai village of Dengue Shuni local government area on August 22nd. 4 days after, 3 students of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria were also kidnapped along Abuja-Kaduna Expressway. The suspects confessed not only their complicity in the incidents, but others that have to do with kidnapping and armed robbery within the northwest zone of the country.
A total of 18 assault AK-47 rifles were recovered from these different gangs. 1,233 rounds of live AK-47 ammunition also recovered.
I know I'm supposed to stop my sister.
In a related development, this lady from Cameroon in connivance with her sister allegedly stole a car in Abuja. The car was subsequently taken to Auchi and sold at the rate of 1.5 million naira.
These suspects were tracked, traced all the way down to Auchi, where they had already sold the car and had moved back to Jos on their way preparatory to exiting the country.
Force Public Relations Officer Frank Mba says the other suspects were also involved in armed robbery and illegal possession of prohibited firearms. In Abuja, Francis Form, NTA News.
To electoral matters now, the list of nominated candidates for the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa State will be published Friday, September the 13th. How many candidates made the list? Mia Ogidi is following up on developments from the INEC headquarters in Abuja.
Nigeria has taken giant strides on drug control with the endorsement of National Drug Control Master Plan to serve as a framework to reduce harm caused by drugs by suppressing illicit drug production, supply and trafficking. In Jigawa State, stakeholders are reviewing the 2015 to 2019 National Drug Control Master Plan and charting a way forward. The implementation of the new draft, which takes effect from 2020 to 2024, is designed to improve health, security and well-being of the people.
We may not totally say it is going to stop the drug problem, but it is better we do something than we keep quiet and do nothing at all. If we do nothing at all, the drug problem will just consume all of us all of a sudden.
The most important thing is for the stakeholders to collaborate.
We have to seriously involve the traditional rulers, the ulama, and this question of creation of employment.
The National Drug Control Master Plan was developed through a participatory and all-inclusive consultation which provide a comprehensive roadmap for 4 years to address array of drug concerns in the country. In Dutse, Ibrahim Bello Gunda, NTA News.
That was actually Ibrahim Bello Gunda reporting on a collaborative effort to stem the tide of illicit drugs in Jigawa State. Worried over increase in rate of breast and cervical cancer in recent time, a non-governmental organization has organized awareness workshop in Anambra State to educate people on precautionary measures against the disease. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
Aimed at equipping young women and men with the know-how on how to curtail the risk of breast and cervical cancer in Nigeria, the workshop tagged Arm Our Youth's Health Campaign is targeted at spreading the message in all the 261 senior secondary schools in Anambra State and beyond. The organizers of the event and other key players who reiterated the need for such awareness workshop decried that most young women have no effective and sustainable ways of learning the necessary and life-saving preventive measures of the diseases.
I've lived in England and in Australia, and I see what they do and how they look after their people, and realize that we can do better as a country here back home in Nigeria.
If you have knowledge about to prevent the disease in any way, it's almost 60% the cure. So I see the initiative as very innovative.
Designed to prepare the teachers from all senior secondary schools in Anambra State on ways to teach, assess and evaluate their students on breast and cervical cancer, participants re-echoed the need to sustain the exercise. The Arm Our Youth campaign is an evidence-based, Harvard-endorsed anti-breast and cervical cancer health promotion initiative of the OCI Foundation, which is being introduced across all senior secondary schools in Nigeria from 2019. In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
And the federal government is establishing specialized hospitals and medical centers with modern-day facilities nationwide to discourage medical tourism. The Federal Medical Center, Abeokuta, is one of such centers recently upgraded. Anthony Gandunu reports that it conducted its first brain tumor surgery successfully performed on a 57-year-old man.
Adebayo and Adetumbi Babatunde are medical graduates of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, and are employees of the Federal Medical Center, Idiaba, Abeokuta. They completely removed tumor from the brain of a 57-year-old transporter, Sunday Ogunkola, in an operation that lasted 8 hours.
It was a little bit of a challenge because it was the first one in the hospital. I've been handling bed trauma in many centers, many places before coming down here.
Although he has been discharged from the hospital, the patient believed his condition was as a result of self-treatment over time.
What I could see is that they are performing well.
Management and social development bring together various entities to have a holistic humanitarian response in the country. This was the question posed during this retreat, targeted to seek technical support in order to establish a strong structure for the ministry.
Presently, the ministry is developing its internal structure based on international best practices and considering available technical expertise to offer. We are requesting from you technical assistance and support.
These experts are of the opinion that the timeline of strategic plan is critical, which can be achieved through a sustainable coordination, coherence and collaboration.
Wherein the government is putting in place an institutional framework to take care of the issues of humanitarian concerns in the country,
So we believe that it's good to support the government in any country that we work in, to have one umbrella, to have one humanitarian affairs ministry.
The expectation here is to strengthen ongoing partnerships for the prevention, mitigation and response of humanitarian disaster to meet global best practices. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
You're on to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We take another break now. More reports when we return.
Digital studio equipment is a critical aspect of modern television that requires special skills for their operation and maintenance. These skills define the content and output of television and are acquired only through professional training and experience. NTA TV College JOS is organizing a special 4-week intensive course on digital studio equipment maintenance for engineers and technical officers in public and private television stations. The course will equip participants with modern techniques, technologies, and skills for effective and efficient operation and maintenance of digital studio equipment. Also, a special 4-week course on intermediate photojournalism and photography will run simultaneously. It is an essential course for photojournalists, photographers, public relations, and information officers to upscale their skills and capacities in photojournalism. Participants will be equipped with modern skills in photo editing, studio, and outdoor lighting, and more in just a few weeks. The venue for both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos. Date 16 September to 11th October 2019. Course fee 100,000 naira only per participant. Accommodation included. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Please, did you hear that?
Of course I did. That is Village Elmaster tune.
Eh? So, Auntie Amebo was not gossiping then?
Village Elmaster is celebrating 50 years.
50? Already? This is not a joke.
It is a national celebration. NTA and Village Elmaster family are commemorating 50 years.
Hey, please, tell me, when is our golden jubilee?
It is from the 8th to 11th of October, 2019.
I have to go and get ready. It's time to party.
Women. But we, men, will be there too.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA. When you hear that sound, you know that Nigeria's most authentic newscast is about to begin. NTA Network News, breaking the news for over 40 years.
Thanks for rejoining us. Lack of trust among public officers, insurgency and poverty have been identified as some of the factors hampering citizens' participation in governance in Nigeria. To change the narrative, members of civil society organizations, officials of INEC and other critical stakeholders on civic and voter education are in Abuja for a 2-day workshop. Elizabeth Omori reports.
Civic responsibility has been a part of the societal setting for many centuries as a blueprint for democracy. Talking about civic responsibility or participation, oftentimes many neglect their responsibility, complain about the system of governance, and do not participate in the process. Let's take, for example, the last general elections in Nigeria.
The last election, did you vote?
No, I didn't. Why? Because we went there and they were delaying our time. So we had to go back.
I did not have voter's card there.
Their responses underscore some of the reasons behind this capacity building workshop by the National Orientation Agency for civil societies and citizens groups to educate them on the essence of values, integrity, and good governance.
Government at all levels should be exemplary in conduct, to lead in such a way that leadership propels and creates and engenders confidence and brings good governance that will affect the lives of citizens generally.
I see the direct funding of the local governments and the state judiciary as a process of restructuring the country. So we, citizenry of this country, must key into that.
Poverty, illiteracy, corruption, and insecurity, they highlighted as factors mitigating citizens' engagement in governance. To restore confidence in Nigeria and engender the spirit of patriotism, attitudinal change, proper education on electoral process, and unconditional love for the nation. Citizens' participation in governance, as civic responsibility remains paramount to the success of democracy. They, however, suggest that Nigerians get involved in governance process, ask concrete questions when in doubt, and hold public officers accountable when they fail to deliver on their mandates. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
And back to our earlier story where we told you that the list of nominated candidates for the governorship elections in Kogi and Bayelsa states will be published Friday, September the 13th. How many candidates made the list? Mayor Ogidi is following up on developments from the INEC office in Abuja.
Having a better political contest and not a bitter one is the target of INEC in Kogi and Bayelsa states. Party primaries are over. Excellent performance, INEC says.
Today, we are yet to receive any report in relation to the conduct of any of the party primary elections.
A smooth contest that produced 52 candidates to vie for the #1 seat in Bayelsa State, while 46 for Kogi State. These political parties beat the 9th September 2019 deadline in the submission of the nominated candidates. So, Friday 13th of September 2019, personal credentials of the candidates will be displayed at the INEC state offices in Bayelsa and Kogi states. INEC gives great premiership to campaigns.
Our plea is that political parties should conduct their campaigns with some level of civility.
Even after November 16 polls, INEC insists winners should be humble in victory and others be gracious in defeat, a key to avoiding post-election violence. Mayor Ogidi.
Staying with elections and governance, who defined a woman as a second-class citizen is a critical question religious leaders, traditional rulers, and women from across Nigeria and abroad converged on Abuja to attempt an answer to, as they examined women's participation in governance and the role of faith and traditional leaders. Momso Damien Detti will lead us.
North, East, West, and South, they all gathered. They are policymakers or wield a level of influence in their domains as heads of churches, mosques, or kingdoms and emirates. That makes them qualified